Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into how artificial intelligence is becoming more than just the source of disruption. We're looking at how it can actually be a powerful partner in managing the trickiest part of any transformation, the human side.
So let's just jump right in with a huge question, one that I'm sure keeps a lot of leaders up at night. You can have the best plans, you can pour tons of money into a project. So why do so many big change initiatives still stumble?
Well, as the source material makes really clear, the problem usually isn't the strategy or the new tech. Nope, it's the people. It's the messy, complicated, and absolutely critical challenge of guiding human beings through uncertainty and getting their genuine buy-in. And this is where things get really interesting. See, we're used to thinking of AI as the change we have to adapt to. But what if we could just flip that whole script? What if AI could become the very tool we use to better understand, to support, and to connect with people while they're going through a change? Okay, so here's our game plan. We're going to look at this from 4 different perspectives: senior leaders, frontline managers, employees, and the change managers themselves. And then we're going to wrap up with what might be the most important piece of all: the ethical rules of the road. All right, first step, let's head to the C-suite. If you're a leader trying to steer a giant organization through choppy waters, AI can be like getting a brand new, high-powered satellite view of everything that's happening. For leaders, the source points to 3 tools that are just total game changers. You've got predictive analytics, which can look at past projects to flag which teams might struggle in the future. Then there's large-scale sentiment analysis, basically taking the entire organization's temperature in real time. And finally, stakeholder network analysis, which maps out who really talks to whom. Now, sentiment analysis, this is so cool. Instead of just relying on a few conversations in the hallway, leaders can use natural language processing to sift through thousands of comments from surveys or internal chat. This gives them a real data-backed pulse check on how people are actually feeling, and it can spot pockets of resistance long before they blow up. And this is just brilliant. This tool basically ignores the official org chart and instead maps out the real social fabric of a company. It shows you who the true influencers are, the go-to people that everyone trusts. Find them, and you've found your most powerful champions for change. Okay, so that's the view from 30,000 feet. Let's come down to the ground floor and talk about middle managers. These are the folks who have the tough job of turning that high-level strategy into an everyday reality for their teams. This slide really says it all. You can see the shift, right? Before AI, a manager's job was often reactive, and they were just buried in administrative work. With AI, they can become proactive, data-driven coaches, freed up to focus on what really matters: empathetic, one-on-one leadership. Think of it like a smart assistant for anyone who leads a team. The source talks about AI that can analyze what's happening and then whisper suggestions in a manager's ear. Things like, hey, it looks like John is struggling with this new process. Here are some specific talking points for your next one-on-one. It's incredibly powerful. And here's the other key part. AI handles the boring stuff. By letting a chatbot answer all the repetitive questions about timelines or where to find a document, you give managers their most precious resource back: their time. Time they can now spend doing the high-touch, human stuff that no AI can ever replace. Okay, now let's shift to the people who are often most affected by all of this: the employees themselves. For them, change can be really unsettling. It can create a ton of anxiety. But AI can actually help make that journey feel a lot more personal and supportive. For employees, you can almost think of AI as a personal guide through the change. It's there to provide instant answers, deliver customized training, and even give little nudges to support their well-being. This is such a massive improvement over those old one-size-fits-all training days. These new platforms can figure out what you already know and what your job requires, and then feed you exactly the bite-sized lessons you need right when you need them. It helps people build confidence and get up to speed so much faster. And this is a huge deal for cutting down on anxiety. You know how the rumor mill goes into overdrive during a big change? Well, an AI assistant acts as the single source of truth. It's available 24/7 to give you a straight, accurate answer, which is the best way to fight misinformation before it even starts. All right, finally, let's talk about the pros, the change management professionals. For them, AI isn't just a new tool. It's transforming their entire field from something of an art form into a real data-driven science. So instead of just reacting to problems as they pop up, AI allows change managers to get ahead of the curve. They can use machine learning to predict which groups might struggle so they can offer support proactively. They can A/B test their emails to see what messaging actually works. And this is the holy grail, they can finally draw a direct line between their work and real business results.
But all this power, the ability to analyze how people feel, to predict how they'll act, to influence them with personalized messages, it's a lot. And it leads us to, frankly, the most important question of all. What are the rules of the game? Because let's be real, if you get this part wrong, you don't just risk the project failing, you risk destroying trust. So, the source material lays out some absolutely non-negotiable principles for using these AI tools responsibly. The source highlights 4 big ones. You've got to be transparent about how you're using data. You have to actively fight to make sure your AI models are fair and accurate. You need to remember that rolling out these tools is a change in itself. But the most important principle of all is keeping a human in the loop. Here's the bottom line. AI should be a co-pilot, not the pilot. It can be an amazing recommendation engine. It can surface insights and highlight risks you'd never see on your own. But when it comes to a final decision that impacts a person's career or their well-being, that decision has to be made by a human, period. The AI informs, the leader decides. This quote from the source just nails it. The whole point of using AI in organizational change isn't to engineer people out of the equation. It's about giving our human leaders superpowers, giving them the tools and insights to be more effective, more empathetic, and more successful. It's all about augmentation, not replacement. And that really leaves us with the one big question we all need to think about. The tech is here, and it's getting more powerful every single day. So the real challenge now isn't if we'll use it, but how. How will we design these systems to amplify our best human qualities, our judgment, our empathy, our ability to connect, to make the experience of change better and ultimately more human for everyone involved?